hangga't maaari, hangga't kaya namin, hangga't kaya namin gawin. At kahit na hindi namin kaya, gagawa namin ng paraan, kakayanin natin. Dahil mahirap naman basta't pabayaan ng mga tao. Basta't sama-sama tayo, nakikita natin, magtulungan tayong lahat. Kahit papaano, magagawa natin ang paraan, mabibigyan natin ng tulong ang lahat ng mga nangangailangan na tinamaan nitong Marse. At mas mabuti, kaya naman tayo walang casualty ngayon, ay nakapag-evacuate tayo na mabuti at tuloy-tuloy ang suporta ng gobyerno.
Hindi kami nakatulog sa sobrang kalampag yung mga bubong namin. Saka may natumba pa sa mga punong kahoy sa bahay namin. Malaking tulong ito para sa amin para makabangon kami ulit sa bagyo.
Sobrang lakas ng hangin, natumba yung mga punong kahoy, tapos yung mga palayan, binaha, mga alaga namin, ma'am, yan, binaha. Nasira yung mga kanina, tuliran din. Malaking tulong po para sa pamilya namin sa barangay namin. Yan po. Maraming salamat po sa mahal ng Panginoon sa binigay sa tulong sa amin. Malaking paninimula na naman po sa amin para sa aming pamilya. Sana po marami pa na matulungan sa dahil namin. Maraming salamat po.
Pagkatapos mamahagi ng tulong sa mga nasalanta sa Cagayan Province, nagtungo rin si Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. sa Licerio Antiporda Senior National High School upang personal na tingnan ang naging pinsala sa mga infrastruktura ng eskwelahan dahil sa nagdaang kalamidad.
Sinasama ko ngayong ating mga cabinet secretary dahil ang aking pag-iisip ay sinasabi ko ang ganitong klaseng problema hindi kayang masolusyonan ng isang department lamang. Kailangan magtulong-tulungan ang mga departamento. Kaya nandito po ang ating mga cabinet secretary sa DPWH, kailan tayo, ni Secretary Manny Bunuan, andyan na Secretary Sani Angara, Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Isasama ko na rin doon, hindi lamang ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno, ngunit kailangan din natin magpasalamat at alalahanin ang mga kaibigan natin sa private sector. Kasi naman, kitang-kita mo ang ugali ng Pilipino. Kapag may bagyo, pagka may sakuna, at nakikita ng mga kababayan natin, kahit wala sila sa gobyerno, nagbibigay kaagad ng tulong. Andito lang po kami para tignan na maganda ang inyong ang pagbigay ng tulong. At kung meron pa kayong ibang pangangailangan, andyan po ang ating LGU, nandyan ang provincial government, andyan din po ang mga ahensya ng gobyerno, lapitan lang po. At lahat ng maaari namin gawin ay gagawin namin para yung tulong na hinihingi ninyo sa national government, yung tulong na hinihingi ninyo para maging maayos na ang inyong pamumuhay, gagawin po natin lahat yan.
Ininspeksyon ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang isang bahagi ng seawall sa kahabaan ng coastal area ng Barangay Poblacion 1 sa munisipalidad ng Pagudpod sa Ilocos Norte matapos ang pananalasa ng bagyong Marce.
We have taken a decisive step towards our vision of a globally competitive and investment-led Philippine economy. Create More Act is a resounding testament of our commitment to make the Philippines the destination of choice for investments. This law stands as a symbol of the invaluable insights shared by our international partners gathered during my trips abroad. Their feedback has enriched this legislation, a reflection of our resolve to foster a climate where businesses will flourish and continue to meaningfully contribute to the Philippine economy. Our gross domestic product, or GDP, grew at an average of 5.8% in the first 3 quarters of 2024, and that showcases our potential as a dynamic, vibrant force in the region. Despite our potential, we recognize the challenging road that still lies ahead. Through this law, we seek to attract both domestic, and this is an important point, both domestic and global investments, focusing on strategic industries that will shape our future. Create More sets the stage for a business landscape that empowers our enterprises and enhances their growth prospects. By building on the reforms initiated through the CREATE Act, we have enhanced our tax regime, incentive framework, and making it more inviting for investment, while remaining steadfast in the principles of fiscal prudence and stability. We cannot emphasize enough the important role of the business sector in shaping this law. Your feedback has been essential in our efforts to craft policies that make our country truly competitive on the global stage. Create More is tangible proof that we hear and respond to the voices of the business community. This reaffirms our commitment to work hand in hand with enterprise, continually seeking avenues to make your investments grow and prosper. To our investors and development partners, let this be our pledge. The Bagong Pilipinas continues to foster an economy where businesses and investments remain at the heart of our progressive development. As we gather for the Sea Trade Cruise Asia 2024, we are presented with an opportunity to shape the future of cruise tourism in a way that brings a lasting benefit to all. The Philippines, in collaboration with our regional partners, is committed to playing a constructive role in this evolving industry. Our goal is to build an industry that benefits everyone: the cruise lines and its crew members, the local communities, and the travelers who seek to explore the rich diversity of our cultures. By streamlining operations, enhancing efficiencies, and focusing on sustainable practices, we aim to ensure that the cruise industry grows in a way that is both practical and inclusive. With 40 unique destinations welcoming cruise ships from the coasts of Palawan to the streets of Manila, we offer experiences that echo beyond the shores and resonate with every traveler. In 2023, the Philippines welcomed 125 cruise calls across more than 30 destinations, a testament to the increasing confidence of the industry in our capabilities. To date, we anticipate 109 calls for 2024, with other confirmed schedules extending to 2027. Yet numbers alone do not tell the full story. As we continue to move forward with the same vision and determination that has brought us here today, I have no doubt that the Philippines will succeed in the global cruise tourism industry. This is an opportunity to forge stronger alliances, exchange insights, construct enduring connections that will transcend borders, and continue to benefit our industries for years to come. May your participation in the Sea Trade Cruise Asia 2024 be productive and enriching, and may the collaborations we foster here today chart a transformative course for our region's cruise industry.
Sea Trade Cruise Asia has been an event that we've been running in Asia for the last 33 years, in fact. And we've taken it to different locations around the region. We've been in Shanghai, we've been in Singapore, we've been in Hong Kong, and this is the first time, Sea Trade Cruise Asia 2024, that we have come to the Philippines. And we're very excited to be showcasing the Philippines to the international cruise community. We have representation from over 28 individual international cruise brands. So these executives are here to engage with the ports, well, with the Philippines and with the wider regional ports and stakeholders to discuss the opportunities for further cruise tourism in this region. Because the Philippines is actually very well positioned within the region, because you have Singapore in the south, you have Hong Kong and China in the north, you have Japan to the northeast, and Philippines is right in the middle. So there's plenty of opportunities for ships that are sailing in Southeast Asia and ships that are sailing in North Asia to visit the Philippines. So it's a very prime opportunity for the Philippines to grow its cruise industry. My message is to the government of the Philippines and the Department of Tourism to continue the great work that you have already started, and to ensure that you continue to provide a warm welcome, some good infrastructural developments within the islands for all sizes of ships, both small and large. And if you continue this path, then I can only see more economic opportunities, economic benefit for the region, and particularly for the Philippines.
So Seatrade technically is a brand, no, under Informa Markets. It's one of the biggest cruise events in the world. Happens 3 times a year, and the third usually happens in Asia. And maswerte tayo na tayo ang napili na host country ng Informa para sa taong 2024. Usually kasi it's held in either Hong Kong or China. But this year, after a really long time, they chose to visit the Philippines and gave us the opportunity to also highlight what we can offer for cruise tourism. So marami tayong ma-expect. Number one, of course, dahil nandito yung mga cruise executives, no, invited them. About 20 of them are cruise executives, no, mga high level, nasa president level, vice president na mga biggest cruise lines in the world. Ma-expect natin na mag-open ito ng opportunity for business development for cruise in the Philippines, no. Once they see what the Philippines can offer, pwede nilang ma-consider ang bansa natin as a cruise tourism destination. Other opportunities also means that we can partner with countries, no, in Asia and Southeast Asia para mag-develop ng itineraries. Importante kasi sa cruise ang itinerary. Ibig sabihin, pupunta ang cruise ship hindi lang sa isang bansa pero sa multiple stops. So kung makonsider ang Philippines as part of an itinerary, that's very important kasi magkakaroon tayo ng more opportunities for economic development through cruise. It's really all about how we prioritize kasi the tourism development right now. We feel like Bagong Pilipinas has really given it a new light and a new life in terms of, prioritization, giving tourism more opportunities, more leverage to use this industry as a stepping stone for the development of our fellow Filipinos. So really, big help and really a big boost for us. So nagpapasalamat kami kay President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. because ang suporte niya sa cruise ay hindi talaga matatawaran. He even mentioned cruise tourism, no, in the last State of the Nation address of the President as one of the key economic drivers of tourism in the Philippines. That in itself is a very important motivator and driver for the Department of Tourism na talagang pagtibayin at pag-igtingin ang aming efforts to really bring cruise tourism to the Philippines as a form of, economic engine for our mga kababayan.
Pinulong ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang ilang miyembro ng kanyang gabinete para talakayin ang ilang usapin ng local manufacturing capabilities upang suportahan ang agri-mechanization. Mainit namang tinanggap ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang mga miyembro ng Pacific Century Fellows o PCF, kung saan pinasalamatan niya ang grupo sa patuloy na pagpapalalim ng ugnayan nito sa Pilipinas.
kabila ng hirap at hamon na dulot ng bagyong Christine at Leon, muling ipinakita ng ating mga kababayan ang diwa ng bayanihan at pagkakaisa. Ang inyong lakas sa kabila ng ganitong hirap ay nagbibigay sa amin ng determinasyon upang ipatuloy na kayo ay silbihan ng bagong puso. Mga kababayan, ang pamamahagi ng tulong na ito ay tanda ng ating panata sa isa't isa na kahit anong mangyari, tayo ay laging magtutulungan. Makakaasa kayo na ang pamahalaan ay narito para matulungan kayo na makabangon sa mga ganitong pagsubok. Sabay-sabay tayo na lumaban at magsumikap para mas maayos ang ating kinabukasan. Ang ating diwa ng bayanihan ay magsisilbing liwanag na magpapakita ng daan tungo sa pagbangon at kaunlaran para sa inyong probinsya at para sa isang bagong Pilipinas.
Ako po si Samuel Aitag, hanonoo katutubo mangyan, sumasaka tulad ng saging, kadyos, kamuti, punguting kahoy, mga ube nasira ng bagyong Christine. Pero po ngayon kami po nagpapasalamat kay BBM Bongbong Marcos na kami ay binigyan ng ayuda. Sana po tuloy-tuloy ang kanyang suporta sa mga mamayan o mahirap ng buong Oriental Mindoro. Kami po talagang sobra-sobra nagpapasalamat sa kanya na kami binigyan ng ganitong klaseng ayuda na para makaraos kami sa aming nangyari nung bagyong Christine. Sana po hindi lang ito, marami pang proyekto ang dumating sa atin dito sa Oriental Mindoro.
Po si Rosalie Anay ay isang kanunoo po, kasapi po ng farmers, mga saging, mga niyog po, marami po, produkto po. Ay po, nagdating po si bagyong Christine, nasira po ang aming halaman. Salamat sa Panginoon, nagdating po si Bongbong Marcos, natulungan po kami ngayon, bigyan kami ng biyaya. Sana po, hindi lang po ako ang matulungan niya, lahat-lahat po mga tao. Mahalaga po ngayon po sa mga magsasaka po ang bigay ni Bongbong Marcos para po sa kanilang panibagong maanoan ulit ang kanyang tanim. Ipaano naman yung tanim, pa buhay naman para kahit ano man yan, may kukunin po ng pagkain. Tapos may nabinta. Masasabi ko lang po Bongbong Marcos na sana patuloy po yung pagtutulong sa aming mga mahirap tsaka po sa mga taong may kailangan po.
Ngayong araw, nandito po tayo upang maghatid ng tulong sa ating mga Kabitenyo at Kabitenya. Mga kababayan nating labis na naapektuhan ng mga nakalipas na bagyo. Sa harap ng hamong ito, nauna nang naglaan ang tanggapan ng Pangulo ng tulong pinansyal para po sa inyo. Ang mahigit 4,200 magsasaka at mangingisda na naapektuhan ng bagyong Christine at Leon ay pagkakalooban ng 10,000 piso upang muling makabangon at mapalago ang inyong mga kabuhayan. Walang humpay din ang ating pamahalaan sa pagbabantay sa mga bagyo at epekto nito. Napansin nga natin na karamihan ng pinsala ay dulot ng lakas ng hangin, pagbaha at ang pagguho ng lupa. Dito po sa Cavite ay pinapatupad natin ang Cavite Industrial Area Flood Risk Management Project. Inaasahan natin na sa tulong ng proyektong ito na matatapos sa 2029, maiwasan na ang matinding pagbaha sa San Juan River Basin at sa Maalimango Creek Drainage Area sa Cavite. Mga minamahal kong kababayan, sa kabila ng mga pagsubok na ating pinagdadaanan, naway pumaibabaw ang ating pagkakaisa, pakikipagkapwa. Sama-sama natin itaguyod ang isang maunlad at nagkakaisang bagong Pilipinas kung saan walang Pilipino ang naiiwan sa oras ng pangangailangan.
Sa malaking tulong kasi laking gastos ang palayan namin. No? Walang napituan ng bagyo. Wala kami na makuha. Malaking tulong sa amin yun. Ako nagpasalamat sa mahal ng Pangulo na nabigyan kami ng tulong. No, para malaking tulong sa amin yun. Bigay sa kanya, sa akin ni Presidente. Ako nagpasalamat sa mahal ng Pangulo na nabigyan kami ng presidential assistant.
Siyempre natuwa kami mga magsasaka, lalo na kami mga naapektuhan itong mga nagdaang bagyo. Makakapagsimula ulit kami sa inaasahan namin ang maitutulong ng ating presidente. Sa ating Pangulo, napakalaking tulong ang naibigay niya na sa aming magsasaka ng gentry. Miski walang kalamidad, nararamdaman namin yung suporta ng agrikultura. Bukod sa makinarya, material man at financial, nararamdaman namin ang suporta ng ating Pangulo.
Nagpapasalamat po ako kay Presidente na sa tulong na may bibigay po nila sa amin sa panibago pong paninimula po ng aming pagtatanim. Uli po at isa po yung sa anak kong may sakit, napakalaking tulong po sa aming pamilya. Maraming salamat po kay Presidente.
Our theme right now is upholding trust and credibility kasi nakikita natin na ang mainstream media, radio, television na may franchise given by the government, ito yung mga nag-uphold ng Broadcast Code of the Philippines. May guide kami para maging responsable ang aming pamamahayag. Radio right now ay pwedeng pumasok sa social media. Pero ang social media hindi pwedeng magka-radyo. So our edge is that we have radio or we have television. Pero pwede namin gamitin lahat ng technology available para ma-communicate sa public kung ano man ang aming content. Our broadcasters right now are being helped by the Kapisanan mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas, and KBP is here to equip them so that they will be at par with whatever technology is here at para magamit ito to their advantage para makapag-serve kami sa aming mga community better.
This is where responsible journalism must come in. The responsibility goes beyond simply informing. It enlightens. It empowers. By championing the integrity and accuracy, the broadcast media helps build public trust, which in turn strengthens our democracy. Your influence as journalists is profound. With every report, story, and headline, you help shape public perception, strengthening our citizens' capabilities to make informed choices and to voice their dreams and aspirations. We are one in defending the truth and addressing the demands of modern media. Sama-sama nating itaguyod ang isang malaya, mapagpalaya, at magpagkakatiwalaan na pamamahayag sa ilalim ng bagong Pilipinas. The LRT-1 Cavite extension has become a reality because 40 years ago, one man had a bold vision to build a modern transit system. Like many monumental undertakings, the concept of the light rail transit was first met with doubts. It was criticized as a project way ahead of its time, with costs way above what the country could afford and engineering challenges way beyond the expertise that we had. But despite this, 3 years later, after the groundbreaking, the first train started rolling. Rolled into history as the first rapid train system in Southeast Asia. Many people have forgotten that, but the LRT-1 was the very first light rail urban transit system in Southeast Asia. On this day, no one is happier than his son in seeing that his father's foresight is being validated by another work that expands mass transit that he had built for the people that he loved. We owe this progress to the hard work and dedication of my predecessors. We must recognize their roles in helping making this dream a reality. The Phase 1 extends the LRT-1 Line 1, bringing us the first 5 new stations in Parañaque City. These stations, Redemptorist Asiana, Mia Road, Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, Ninoy Aquino Avenue, and Dr. Santos, will serve as vital access points for many, many Filipinos. With the Phase 1 completion, the LRT-1 will have the capacity to serve an additional 80,000 passengers every day, significantly enhancing our current ridership. Commuters will now see a great reduction in travel time, allowing them to spend more time with their loved ones. Carrying the lessons of the past, we aim to intensify our work on rail initiatives. The issues on road right-of-way must be resolved fast, and disputes must not hinder work. To attract foreign investment in the transport sector, we should leverage the Public Service Act that removes the 40% cap on foreign investment in railways. With these in mind, we are pursuing more transportation projects. Dito sa LRT-1 Cavite Extension, hangad ko na matapos ang natitirang 3 istasyon hanggang Bacoor, Cavite sa lalong madaling panahon. Ukol sa Unified Grand Central Station sa Quezon City na magsisilbing terminal kung saan magtatagpo ang 4 na linya, hangad ko na agaran nitong magkukumpleto. Nang sa gayon, handa itong magbigay ginhawa sa mga pasaherong tumatangkilik sa tren araw-araw. Para naman sa MRT-7 na tatahak mula sa Quezon City hanggang Bulacan, inaasahan ko na magamit na ito upang maranasan ng tinatayang 300,000 pasahero ang pangakong 35 minutong biyahe sa magkabilang dulo. Sabik na rin akong makatanggap ng paanyaya sa pagbubukas ng unang yugto ng North-South Commuter Railway. Hangad ko rin na maging komportable ang mga pasahero sa MRT-3, sa EDSA at sa LRT-1. Hindi na sana kailangan maglakad ng mga pasahero mula sa MRT-3 North EDSA Station na malapit sa Trinoma para lang lumipat sa FPJ Station papuntang Balintawak o sa Caloocan. Together, let us build a more advanced, progressive, and prosperous bagong Pilipinas. One where every Filipino can look towards a future of seamless connectivity, improved mobility, and the freedom to spend time on what truly matters. His commitment, leadership, and vision has significantly strengthened our naval capabilities and enhanced our readiness to face the rapidly evolving challenges of today. He was exactly what this country needed, mild-mannered and calm, his presence of mind unshakable despite provocations and attempts to escalate tensions. It is through his leadership that we remain firm in asserting our rights in the maritime domain while keeping to our responsibility of safeguarding lives and promoting regional peace and stability. He is attuned to the needs of his people. He supported their training, their growth, and welfare, ensuring that the women and men of the Philippine Navy remain professional and capable of heeding the call of duty. On behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your exemplary and passionate service. We wish you fair winds and following seas as you embark onto your next journey.
Pinangunahan ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang isang situation briefing upang alamin ang naging aksyon ng gobyerno at mga pagtugon nito sa pinsanang idinulot ng Bagyong Ika at Marce sa Northern Luzon. Kanya rin pinaalalahanan ang lahat ng ahensya na paghandaan ang pananalasa ng Bagyong Pipito na inaasahang magiging super typhoon habang tinutumbok ang Luzon.